I'm back with another video, and this one is just going to be a quick look at Atalanta's build-up and one of their rotations they use with overlapping center backs and how they use their holding midfielders to get them on the ball as deep-lying playmakers to then exploit space between the lines further up the field. So for the first, we'll go over their structure, and they use three at the back typically. Three at the back from the few games I've seen. I haven't seen too much on them, but I saw a replay of them today. I thought it was interesting. Thought it was a rotation worth taking a look at. So it might not be exactly their tactical system, but what I'm about to explain is inspired by them. So just take that into consideration. So three at the back, two holding midfielders. And then they play with wing backs, who will go very narrow, as we'll see in a second. And then their two wingers play more as attacking midfielders through the half spaces than anything else, with one lone striker. And a quick note on the front three and the wingers, they play very fluid, especially the front three. They're always interchanging positions and playing between the lines, trying to create more space for each other through pinning and different concepts. So for the first movement we'll look at is the 8 actually vacates his pivot area and drops between the most central center back and the wide center back, and then this releases the wide center back to then hold the width of the positional structure, which allows then the wing back to go inside. So now what we have here, usually the holding midfielder then gets on the ball and is able to progress via dribbling further up the field, and his teammates will go with him, just so the picture stays. And that's why the starting positions of the wide center backs is so wide, and they give such width to their offensive structure. So now we have the center back on the ball, or the holding midfielder, taking the center back's position. And now this first rotation tests the defense a lot to see how they'll react, because a lot of the reference points on pressing come from the wide players pressing the fullbacks and whatnot. So it might create a little disconnection between the front three and might displace them a little bit. But as we move forward, now we have these two players in the half space, which I will highlight for you right now. So we have these two players in the half space, and now what is really crucial, and a few examples I've seen from them, is they have the winger, one of their wingers, deeper, and then their wing back higher. So now what this allows is this gives the winger a chance to use things like double movements and positioning in the blind side to then create or take advantage of the space created by the inverted wing back pinning some of the defenders. And they've done this a lot and through different ways. So sometimes it's the wing back, sometimes the wing back comes, but then sometimes Zapata comes in, and then the inverted winger goes higher to pin. And then even we've seen overloads as both wingers to one side, and then that really pulls the defense to one side usually. Usually they overcompensate for this, and then now that creates an overload and an isolate, and usually one stays deeper, one stays higher, and depending on the marking system of the midfield, this can also create a pinning situation and then space to receive the ball. Because when we think about it, so let's say the midfield is using their cover shadows, they're not quite shifted well enough, but so the holding midfielder advances the ball via dribbling, and then now the winger is just going to use a blindside movement as maybe the strong side midfielder on defense, the central midfielder, is drawn towards the ball as it's being dribbled and progressed. Now the ball can be played in here, and then the inverted winger has all this space in front of the defense to then progress and even a 3v1. Or if, let's show you this picture, if they stay more of a man-to-man approach, he's getting pressed, the ball will be played in, and then now if he just simply turns his hips, they can play up the line, and now they're free to progress. And one of the things to keep in mind is how this rotation in the midfield third of the field, how that leads them to then create more opportunities through the assist zones of the field. So these assist zones are the highest percentage of goal scoring chances created. So these are really the targets that the offensive team will play, and by overloading the half spaces here, it puts more players in direct access to these areas, and by creating space here, then it allows players to come in and receive passes into these areas. So that was just a quick video today. Hopefully by the end of the week I'll release something pretty exciting that I've been working towards, and I'll fill everybody in on where I've been, what I've been doing by the end of the week. So please subscribe, like the video as always, that helps an awful lot, and hopefully tomorrow I'll get a video about Keyframe and alternative to Coach Paint and more expensive things like that. This will be an easy analytical tool that anybody can use, and almost pretty much it's made for affordable and practicality. So I'm really excited to release it and show you guys. I'll post the link below, but please, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. But thanks for watching.